Hey there guys, what is going on? We are back with another map guide in Cold War. Today we are taking a look at Miami Strike, which is the brand new map that has been added in the Season 2 Reloaded update, which I think is actually a very, very good map. It's definitely a major improvement over the original Miami, as it's just so much smaller. Like, you are missing about half of the map. I mean, you don't even have to worry about that building just being in this little corridor here. But I mean, this map is a lot better than it used to be. But just before we do get into talking about some of the best spots on this map, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on. I massively appreciate it, and it really does help me out. So of course, I know about 90% of you guys watching these videos right now are not subscribed. So if you could take the time to hit that little red button for me, that would be absolutely massive. So let's just start talking about some spots here, and we'll get into it. So of course, we do have the pretty exposed A flag. You have to consider that that does actually look back at that long line of sight there. The B flag is, as you would expect, in the middle of the map. You come through this building here, and it is right next to this fan. You can probably expect where this is going to be. It's on this location here. Resupply blocks there, and then you come over on the back, go up the stairs, through the little building up in here, and the C flag is at the back here, which is fairly interesting. Okay, so one of the most important things that I have noticed on this map is this little corridor here. Because this is fairly exposed to this line of sight here, you can basically just sit here, hold this head glitch, and like protect the A flag if you do feel necessary. You have to know that there is two lines of combat here. One is on this box here, and this is intentional. They have made this intentionally. You can sit here and wait for people to peek around that corner. And then from the reverse angle, you can do pretty much the same thing. So it's important to keep that in mind. You will do a lot of your fighting on these two angles here. You can even come on this side and protect that side. Use a garbage can if you feel necessary to sort of hold that line of sight there, because people will sit here and you will get taken out if you are just sitting on that spot there. So keep that in mind. This is fairly important here. Of course, there is this little room which seems a little unnecessary to have, but I mean, it's another area you can defend this flag from. You might be able to take someone by surprise instead of sitting on this box here. You can maybe go inside the building and peek out from the door. Just a little bit of a change. It's not going to be super useful. This particular building isn't super relevant, so just sort of keep that in mind. This corridor here is fairly interesting. You would assume that this is for longer lines of sight. As you can see, that sniping position on that door does peek pretty much all the way back in past the yellow car. So you can usually come around here and get people by surprise by sort of who are sniping on that little ledge there. You can usually come around the side and sneak up on them if you can manage to get between like this little corridor. So if you snake through here, manage to get across here, maybe with a smoke grenade or something like that, you can usually take somebody out here who is just sort of looking down that corridor sniping. Again, there is this little lane here. You will sort of most of the time be spending a lot of time here just sort of head glitching this little post on these stairs. This is a fairly common line of sight that you will see a lot of people just sort of run up here and then look at the A flag, because I mean, that is fairly exposed back there. So expect somebody to be here pretty much all the time. I usually just chuck a grenade as it is. Like if I'm running this way, I usually just chuck a grenade that way, just to sort of get anyone who might be sitting on those little stairs there, just to sort of clear that area off. And then you can push up here, you can go towards the B flag, or you can push around towards the C flag, which is the preferred run out for me. I usually run this way, come on the A flag, run on the left-hand side, take out somebody who is coming this way. Sometimes you'll get 4 people that come this way for some reason and you get unlucky, but most of the time nobody comes this way, and you can push around their back and use this stairway as a little bit of a flank. Take out the person who is sitting here and then control the high ground on the B flag. Again, you can push around the left-hand side of the map fairly consistently. There is a little box here, like nice little head glitch all the way into the back there. That is a spawn back there, so maybe keep that in mind. If you are sitting here, you might be getting spawn kills, so that's pretty cool. Again, little tree. There's lots of little blocking lines of sight here you can use to sort of cover yourself between there and the spawn. Again, this little head glitch here is quite nice. People are going to be spawning there sometimes, so just keep that in mind. But again, you can get pushed from this fairly easily. This is fairly exposed, so if you are just sitting on this little head glitch here, you can get shot from behind. This little building here is fairly important. Again, you can see the C flag from inside here. You can use this to sort of cover this area. But again, this really isn't super important of an area. Of course, this is a window that you can jump out. A lot of people don't really know that this is here. You jump in and out of this window to get access to the C flag, or just sort of flank somebody who might think you're around here. So if somebody is on the C flag and you come from this way, you can jump on there. Maybe take them out by surprise because they don't know that that window's there, that you can just jump in very, very easily. Again, there's not really super lots back here that you can see. You can sort of defend this area here, but that is pretty nasty of a line of sight to sort of look back all the way there. So don't really peek that heaps. But if you can come that side, it's a little bit more protected. And again, you can come this side and then use this as a head glitch as well to sort of defend this little corridor from the C flag. One of the more important aspects of this is that there is the ladder there. You can use that to climb up. You can also cap the flag while you are on the flag. So keep that in mind. If you are doing a little run out, you spawn on C, you come over here. You have to cap the flag, jump on the ladder, and just wait for it to cap, and then jump when it is captured, and then jump over on the balcony. But again, if you don't want to worry about the ladder, you just jump up on the boxes here, jump up on there, and again, jump across there, and you are up here fairly quickly. This is a fairly good position on the map in this area here to drop like a jammer or a field microphone. Just your equipment should probably go in this room. It doesn't get grenaded too often, Sometimes grenades will get chucked from down here and they might land in here, which is a little unfortunate, but for the most part, things should be pretty safe in here and it covers a fairly large portion of the map. So that's a good place to put like your equipment, your field upgrades and stuff. Not actually sure if you can jump onto this wall or not. I don't think so. No, it doesn't look like you can jump up on that. We can come on the left-hand side here. This is a fairly interesting corridor. You will have to do a lot of cat and mouse in this little doorway, little hallway section. So keep that in mind. People do like to sit in here. You can walk past them fairly easily and get flanked immediately by that. So just keep that in mind. Check that doorway. Check this little corridor here for anybody who might be sitting in here. A lot of people do sit in here with your shotguns, so keep that in mind. Again, this is a fairly straight, long line of sight here. A lot of people will sit on this car and look towards the back of C flag. You can almost see the C flag from here, so you can pretty much easily see anybody who does come around that corner there. You just wait for him to peek out. You can shoot through. You can shoot through the car, so keep that in mind. If you bust out the windows, you might actually be able to get a nice line of sight there where you can't actually be seen, or only the tip of your head can be seen from there, so keep that in mind again. But for the most part, this back of the map isn't super interesting. It's just a basically like fairly long corridor. But you will see a lot of people coming through here. Again, this corridor, again, wraps around the entire map, so you can come over to the A flag fairly quickly. It's a nice little flank. And we meet back onto the head glitch that we were talking about previously. There is the van that you can climb on. Sometimes you can take people by surprise who are coming around this way. They won't be looking up on the van. If you see this from the reverse angle, you basically just sort of come around here. You're not really expecting people to be up on the van. You can sort of miss their head if you come around at the right angle. You're aiming at the wrong spot. If you are aiming at the van, you can sort of miss their head, so it can be a little tricky. So keep that in mind. If you are standing on the van, you might get the advantage on someone, or you might just be standing here like a dummy, being fairly exposed from that doorway back there. If you use this as a sniping position, that's pretty good, but you will want to have something to protect this, like a proximity mine or a gas grenade, to sort of stop people from like immediately peeking you as they do come around this corner. Again, we can see most of the map from here. We can see all the way back into there. The B flag signature capture point thing is a little annoying for this because it does block off that like doorway fairly significantly, so that is kind of annoying. But for the most part, you want to be aiming at here if you are looking that way, and have some mines and stuff protecting this area in case you get flanked, because people will be coming this way all the time, man. People, they just love shooting up there. It's fairly easy to land a grenade up there. You just chuck it up there and be on your way. Imagine missing the grenade. Anyway, you can see pretty much everything from up here. You can see that way there. If you jump up onto this sort of little sandbag here, you can sort of protect yourself and use this as a little head glitch. But I mean, that's not super useful. You can do that anyway. And again, you are mostly concerned about that area there. People jumping over the half wall there. Jump on the resupply. This building here is actually fairly significant. It does connect the middle of the map to the A flag. So a lot of the time you will see people hiding behind this desk here. So just keep that in mind. You'll be looking at this head glitch and being like, man, that's not super useful. But when people come through this door and they don't look at you immediately, you will get some pretty easy kills on this thing. And also, people don't really expect you to be hiding here if they do come through that door. So again, keep that in mind. If you come through this door, you can't really see somebody immediately. If you're sort of hiding here, you can't really be seen immediately from the door. So you should be able to get some easy kills in this position here, on that door, and that door there. The B flag is an absolute bowl. Like, look at this thing. Like, every single grenade that you toss in here is just going to literally bounce on the B flag somewhere. If you try and bounce it off that wall, it'll land pretty somewhere in the middle of the B flag. So that is fairly important to know. You want to use this position, like, fairly sparingly, because people usually check here. They'll jump up down here, and they'll go, is he there? Is he there? Is he there? No, he must be here somewhere, and then they'll shoot you and take you out pretty much immediately. So this is fairly interesting of a point to try and cap. You can, of course, jump over the half wall there, jump up and over. This is a fairly good spot to like place your proximity mines and other things and your gas grenades and sort of block off this wall, because once people do jump over here, they will not really have time to sort of avoid a proximity mine, or at least if you are peeking there, just expect somebody to sort of be there when you do jump over the wall. This is a fairly common spot that I have been seeing a lot of people hide in. If you jump over the wall, you are dead as soon as you get over here. So just sort of do a little check in the corner there before you do jump over, because people love to hide in this corner here. Another interesting grenade spot that I have found is to come over here, because people do spawn on the C flag side and they run all the way around. So basically what happens is they'll spawn on C flag and they'll come all the way around to the garage side. So if you can manage to chuck a grenade, you stand in this corner here, you do a little cooking, chuck it over the wall, and it will land pretty much in the right spot. Semtex also does a fairly good job there as well. It does have that little timer. So if you are managing to like sort of do a little jump, and we see where that lands, that's a pretty good spot right there. It basically lines up as you get here and you manage to chuck that grenade, people will be walking out of that doorway. So if you land it right, you time this right, you'll get pretty easy kills in that particular doorway there as people do walk through, and you chuck a grenade there at the same time. Again, you can jump in any way on this little staircase option here. You jump up on there, you jump across here, you jump up on here, you jump across to here, because sometimes people will just expect you to go from this position to that position there, which can work. Like, you can get a job done if you know there isn't somebody up here. Even if there is somebody up here, you can sometimes take them by surprise. But sometimes even jumping around that corner there is quite good as well. So this is a fairly important part of the map. The middle is mostly the most important part of the map, so you can jump between there. You can also sort of half cap the flag from this spot here, which is a little interesting, so keep that in mind. But for the most part, this is a fairly important part to control as well. People will usually try and flank around here and come in this doorway. You've got that little head glitch there. You're hard to shoot out of this spot. So if you look here and you're in this doorway and you see somebody who is up there, it's probably not worth taking on that fight at all, because they have the advantage. It's just such a hard spot to push if you are like watching this doorway. Somebody peeks out and you got an easy kill on them most of the time. So you want to usually have something protecting there, just in case you aren't like looking at it. And then again, you come around on the back here, you watch this spawn. This isn't as much of an issue as I thought it would be. A lot of people thought that you would spawn back there and just be like instantly headshot from the high balcony, which I've seen happen a couple of times, but it's not super frequent, so don't sort of worry about having to sort of like protect yourself in this spawn from somebody who's sitting up here. It doesn't happen super often. But for the most part, that's really it with this map. It's quite small, and this is how Miami should have been, in my opinion. Like, this is a way, way better map than actually original Miami, because, I mean, it's just way smaller. Like, this is how it should have been, really. Like, you can just sort of see all the way back there. You use this van as cover for the most part. You shoot out the windows on that van. Shoot out the windows on the van, and it does make it quite easy to shoot through, and then you sort of peek in this position here. This is another important position underneath this bit. You will use this rotate fairly often, so if people are spawning on the A flag, you'll get a couple of kills there. And you will rotate around this side and then get somebody who is like running from the corridor. The back alley here, get those shots going there and then come back again. And then rotate back through this room here into the hotel and then take some shots, and then rotate back again. So this again is a fairly important thoroughfare way to run through the map. Essentially, you want to be chucking stuff down here. Like, gas grenades are going to be pretty good in this little location here, because there's not really much you can do about to get out of the way of it. So again, this is a very, very important part of the map. Again, you can see all the way back into the doorway there, and people can see you. So again, we'll jump up here. We'll jump across all the way across the map. We'll actually capture the B flag, annoyingly, which, whatever. You can actually see, and for the most part, when you do walk through here, you'll want to chuck a grenade or something like that to there, because people do always, they always come through the hotel. They always sit in that bit there, and you can usually take them out pretty easily. That's very, very common. But again, you can sometimes even just land like a little nade in there, and as people run through the hotel and land there, they will get taken out by the grenade, so keep that in mind as well. But for the most part, guys, Miami Strike isn't too complicated of a map. Just remember some of the grenade spots that we have talked about, particularly the one that is from this side here. This little corridor, again, jumping over. There's a lot of flanks on this map, so keep that in mind. Watch your back, turn around fairly often, check the spawns. I think even having forward intel is probably a good idea on this map, just so you know where people are spawning. But again, you just do a little hop, jump over, and that is a fantastic nade spot, man. Like, most of the time, you're going to get somebody who does walk out of that doorway at the same time. But as I said, that's pretty much it with this map. There's not really too much else to talk about. We've covered pretty much all of it. The left-hand side is fairly interesting, so keep this in mind if you are a sniper. This is where you'll do most of your work here. You'll shoot down these long lines of sight, and that's pretty much it. But thank you very much for watching this one, guys. I massively appreciate it. Of course, if you do want to see a particular map guide on any of the maps that are currently in the game, make sure you do let me know. Leave a comment. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, just in case you don't want to miss out on any of the upcoming content. We're still covering loads of the Season 2 stuff, or the Season 2 Reloaded stuff, so don't miss out on any of that. I know about 90% of you guys watching this video right now are not subscribed, so if you could take the time to hit that button for me, that would be absolutely massive. I will see you in the next video. Bye!